Here we go. It's Walk and Talk Brainstorm for what is today's date? It is the 28th of April, 2024. This is the morning routine activity. About to take the puppy out for a walk. I'm actually going to drop some stuff off downstairs in the basement of our building. Some stuff that I want to get out and doing some of the cleansing and the cleansing of the space to start getting some of the stuff out there. So let me just go. Let me just do this. Is going to be a morning routine to get this thing started. All right, got the morning routine update right here. So I'm going to do a quick weigh-in before we actually head out with the puppy. Let me actually, while he's here, let me get his harness on to start to get that piece started. So this is where we dictate a lot of the things that we want to create during the day, and then on the back end, see what can start to come of these what can come of these lives to start yeah, what can come of the lives to be useful to our future selves. If you are watching this live and you would like to come on, please leave a comment, and I'll share with you the link to come on live. More than welcome to come on live. But yeah, so how do we go from ideas to reality at the speed of a voice, or the speed of at the speed of thought? And now working on conversion, which is interesting. I got a lot of things that I've got to do today, or some things that I've got to do today. They take up a lot from the energy space of things that I've got to do today that require sitting in front of a computer, or being live connecting with another person, like getting another person's attention, or being on a call with another person. So the name of the game is, how can we start to replicate a lot of the work that we would get done with another person or live during asynchronous conversations like this. And that's what this is. So this is a brainstorm. This is the closest thing to top of mind from that I have available to me. Yeah, it's the closest thing, top of mind stream of consciousness. And then on the back end, we'll use some of our AI tool friends to see what actually got discussed, and then see what else can get created based on the work that we're performing. So that's the whole name of the game. I know it sounds a little bit abstract, or a lot abstract, but that's the whole idea. So messing around with a couple of tools on the back end. When I can go live, I use yeah, when I can go, when I can start recording some other things live, I use Cleft Notes, which does a very nice summary very quickly of the audio message that you're actually talking about. I also started working yesterday with the tool called Craft, which actually starts making, which is actually a fun one, which actually starts making like PDFs and documents out of the work that you're doing. And then I use Otter as that catch-all of the voice, right? And then starting to like Otter is almost like the second brain, or the other person that's a partner on the other side, to be able to craft all those different pieces. So what's going to happen on the back end of this conversation? Oops, I just kicked the puppy accidentally. Let me just, not a little kick, a little nudge kick. Um, the What's going to happen on the back end of this is I'll download the file, I'll put it into Otter, and then I'll see where we can start to craft some of the other notes. I am more than debating. I'm planning on getting a second device to be able to actually record some of the audio stuff live as we're going through the session. So if you are joining live, please feel free to leave a comment. If you would like to come on live, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to. I'll send you a link. You just got to leave a comment here or a ping, and you can actually join the session live. I did a session this morning on what can go right as well, and let me just see actually what this is. That was an experiment. Actually recorded it, pre-recorded, and then did it as a live event. The other thing is started to add into these sessions to start having them as scheduled sessions, scheduled events, starting to create documents on the heels of some of these things, and I'm going to start to mess around today, or actually maybe today, but sometime in the near future, with like creating mini clips with some of the conversation pieces that we're having here. So starting to create mini clips to turn a long form rambling brainstorm into usable clips on the back end. So again, if you'd like to come on live, let me just do a comment here. Please leave a comment if you would like to come on live.
All right, boom, got that there. All right, there we go. Please leave a comment. Yep. So if somebody'd like to, yeah, if you'd like to join this live, or we'll start potentially start to schedule these things out a little bit earlier, so that people who can sign up can also get. If you click on the link, if you are seeing this after the fact, if you click on, that's the best way. If you click on attend the event, even if it's after the fact. Um, where's my watch? Gotta find the Apple Watch here. Where'd it go? I find the watch doesn't have here. And if you attend the event, if you say you attended the event afterwards, then I can start sending you information for coming on live. 'Cause there's not that many links for the coming on live. Just want to, yeah. So that's the best way. If you are seeing this after the fact and you would like to come on live at some point in time, I will add you to. Start to notify you what the pieces are, what the what's the word I'm looking for here, of where some of the links are here. So wanted to start creating a whole studio effect of random brainstorms recorded live, turned into videos, starting to parse out the knowledge that comes from those, starting to parse out the knowledge that comes from those sessions, and then seeing what we can actually turn it into in the back end. That's the name of the game. It's like how much, first of all, it's quantity, right? How much stuff can we create? Because inside the quantity comes the quality or the things that people can connect with. So if the experience of this is unclear, boring, and we're still working through some of the semantics. And I've done exercises like this in the past. The first couple of weeks is typically about the logistics and getting like the systems in place. And when that gets in place and that gets out of the way, that's when we can start moving into new topics and then creating some of the new items. So again, if you are seeing this live, you're more than welcome to leave a comment live, and we can have you join in. If you are seeing this after the fact, then sign up for the event. Just sign up for the event, even if you're not going to be attending the event, and we can start sharing out some information based on, yeah, share out some links based on the event. All right, I'm gonna take some stuff downstairs while we take the puppy out to get the day started, to start to move through. So I'm clearing out a printer. One of the things we're starting to mess around with in our house, not even mess around with in our house, but we have these to go to laser printers. We spend so much money on ink for the kids' projects. I don't print anything anymore, or rarely print anything anymore, but for the kids' school projects, we wound up spending a lot on ink, and was told, invest in a laser printer. And actually, let me just leave a note for myself to be able to do that. Invest in a laser printer, and and then you only have to replace the ink, or a lot less frequently. Plus, it's a higher quality. It's a much higher quality printout on the back end. So that's what we'll start to. That's what we're starting to invest in, and then that kind of dovetails with the another project that I'm working on is expense management. So we'll be messing around with some of the expense management tools later on today, just to see, just to be able to capture our expenses live, what we're spending, and then also to start to forecast expenses out that are starting to come up. So things like that printer, like how does that printer exist, along with expenses that we know that we have to pay for, and then along with other things that we want to do, like how do I prioritize getting a laser printer against like buying an additional phone, so I can do when we're doing these live recordings, can actually create content live while we're walking the puppy, walking the puppy in the morning. One of the other pieces I want to talk about here, outside of the conversation of morning routine, is mood elevators. That's been a big one for me, just waking up in the morning just with the not having everything, starting new stuff, having intense work times, having the family come back and um, having some stuff going through with the family coming back. So wake up with some anxiety every single day. How do we either one, create the systems that allow for that anxiety back, yeah, inside of inside the teachings of inside the teaching. Let me just get rid of this stuff. Inside the teachings of ask and it is given, it is the all right. How do we go up the emotional scale so we can, when we're working, we can work more productively, and then also starting to think about honoring the Pomodoro's technique, which is the working for 25 minutes at a time, and then noticing where the energy off, leave a comment, and you're more than welcome to come on live. If you don't want to come on live today, but you'd like to come on live some other point, or you'd like to get some updates on what we're up to here, just sign up for this event. You can see, where it's like joining the event, or leave a comment on the event specifically and give you updates on some of the topics, some of the items that we're talking about, and some of the topics that we're talking about. So we're going to start turning this into programming on specific topics, and to get a little bit more tailored, might even start getting into some more of the scheduled stuff. Right now, all these sessions are just ad hoc. There are, when I start to walk the dog, depending on how much time we have, we start the live session. So those are a couple of different things. So I'd love to hear for anybody who's watching, live, or anybody who's watching after the fact. If you leave a comment, or if you leave a like, or if you sign up for the event, that'll just kind of know, hey, an opportunity to reach out and see what you'd like to see happen. What you'd like to see happen in the live events, and then also if you'd like to come on and be a live guest. I'd like to have this start turning into an interview show. My favorite thing is start interviewing people ad hoc, as they are kind of in the middle of their life, doing whatever they're doing during the morning commute. As I said, I record these as I'm walking my dog or getting ready to walk my dog. I ran a couple of errands this morning, or not ran errands, but as we're waiting this morning, went through and went through and did a check-in with check-in on the weight, and then also dropped the box downstairs, kind of in the spirit of cleaning out, literally cleaning out my closet. So all kind of minor little actions that happen as we're going through and talking through the live brainstorm that can connect to larger goals and larger projects for the year. And then so the thesis, we can get more work done, or hypothesis. The hypothesis is you can get more work done during gap time when we're like free than you can during that non-focused work time. Focused work time is absolutely great, but very challenging to with busy schedules and just with the volume of stuff that's going on right now. Very, very challenging to get a focus work time to go. Morning. How are you? Excellent. Excellent. It's awesome. It's really great. I love it. Thanks so much. All right. So we're doing. There we go. We got. So there's how much, how we can get more stuff done during focus time. More during like gap time than we can during focus time. So what we have right here is, obviously, this is walking the dog. What I would be doing, as opposed to doing some of this like the brain dump, is the listening to an audiobook or listening to a podcast, or the worst one was maybe creating a note for myself. That's not the worst one, but the worst one is also just having the head spin, the heads kind of spin with or cycle through a whole bunch of different thoughts. And I had a conversation with somebody on Saturday. I go to OsteoStrong on Saturday, which, check it out if you, Tony Robbins' book, what was it called actually? I don't remember what his health book was called. It came out a couple of years ago. Life Force, that's what it's called. Life Force, he talks about OsteoStrong. It's a 10-minute workout that you do once a week that can have extreme positive impacts. Now, so it's in creating bone density, right, and strengthening the bones. And the experience for me has been a great great increase in the not in the bone density, but in balance. So I've seen, especially kind of with jujitsu practice, has been increasing the balance. But I had the conversation with somebody um, about cycling of thoughts, right? So when we are just like kind of sitting in silence and we start to spin out of control and have the thoughts continue to cycle and just sort of make us feel worse, 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 and worse, getting up and verbalizing those can make a big difference. Now, if sometimes like the most useful thing is to verbalize to another person, however, people have their own thoughts that they're starting to work with. So you got to catch somebody at a time when, one, they're available to have the conversation, and then number two, but in the right mental space to be able to do it. But for me, I've learned I can get the same or almost the same impact by just verbalizing it verbalizing it in like I'm doing right now, like putting some of the stuff out there. And the nice thing that happens is, so number one, the thought gets out into the world, and when thoughts get out into the world, they could potentially be useful to me or to somebody else. Also, it's getting spoken, so we're practicing some of the speaking. It's practicing communication skills, and it's getting heard, right? I can hear myself saying what I'm talking about as we're going through. So you start to create a mastermind, right? You start to create an improvement. With yourself. Now, if somebody else gets into the conversation, then they bring on their whole mastermind component as well. So that's the whole idea of it. And if you have multiple people starting to work together, as long as as long as everybody feels safe and there's some structure in place, so that everybody can get heard at the right times in the right place, or everybody can listen at the right times in the right place, and there's the right systems in place, then you can create some really extraordinary stuff after the fact. So that's starting to mess around with trying to create a mastermind effect. But then how do we start reducing during this time? How do we start reducing other work that is not getting done during this time, right? And so, the most challenging stuff for me is that sitting down in front of a computer time, especially the ones where, sitting down in front of a computer, especially with devices that are a little bit slow or slow. So sitting down in front of a computer. So how do you start to replace some of that computer time with this, with either live content or pre-recorded content or asynchronous content to be able to work with each other? So that's the stuff that we're starting to mess around with. These lives start to replace some of the asynchronous chats. And then this is just like a little brainstorm to demonstrate, to get some of the ideas out here. Why I like to do these, as content, right, is to, one, it puts a little bit more pressure, right, on it, and say, and you don't know what the stuff is that can get out there and that could be useful for other people. We're worst judges of the quality of our own work. So now we can see what actually can get out there and be useful for other people. Why I like to do it live? One, I just like the whole live experience, right? It feels more like a conversation that feels more like a conversation, and it also it's there, it's produced, right? It's produced on the back end versus having to do a lot of post production after the fact. So that's the driver for me. That's why I like to do these sections and segments this way. So thanks a lot for listening. I think I'm going to put an end to this one right now at the 20-minute mark. Appreciate everybody who has listened in for this session. And again, please, if you are seeing this after the fact, interact with the event. Either give it a like, give it a leave a comment, or sign up for the event. Looking for to start to connect with people who would like to come on and be interviewed, and that's kind of where we'll move this over the next 90 days or so, when we start getting some of the structures in place, and just going to have to figure out how the right balance between serendipitous connection and actual scheduled events. So thanks a lot for listening and have an amazing day.